I remember rightly, the reason Harry's brothers moved from Wales to Mexico didn't really work out. It was mainly a language barrier issue. I think most of the Mexicans just couldn't learn Welsh. All right, hello YouTube, Derek Shoehorn here for Life Advice. I'm joined once again as usual this week by Dr. Pam Landesman. Great to have you with us again, Pam. How you doing?
Hey Derek, great to be here. We've got something very special for you today. It's going to be an in-depth analysis of Ian Wright's interview with Harry Prince and Meg Markle. Of course, with Meg being the first female to appear in the hitherto all-male setup of the USA International men's team. Ian Wright got the first interview, the lucky devil. Of course, this has been a huge news story this week, covered the world over, and it's one of the few sports stories that's actually gone from the back pages to the front pages in almost every country.
That's right. Most of this week, I actually thought that my paper was back to front, but it turns out it wasn't. It's just, like you say, Doc, an absolutely huge story.
And we're just going to be seeing not only what was on their minds and analysis of the deeper body language and implications of how they behave, but also to fold in some media training for the multiple elite athletes that follow the channel.
Yeah, that's great. Like you say, Doc, there's going to be a hell of a lot to take away from this for most of you watching, because most of you who are subscribed to the channel are elite athletes, a lot of you professional athletes.
Of course, for all the aspiring sportsmen amongst you, it'll be interesting how to deal with a real Rottweiler of an interview like Ian.
All right, without further ado, let's run the clip.
Was the move about getting away from the UK press? Because the press is, is everywhere.
All right, so right off the bat there, we see Ian with some very interesting body language. He's doing his two-finger wave. This is a move that he learned during his playing career, which he would use to hypnotize referees out of giving him red cards, and it was very effective for him. And as you can see, he's carried that on into his media career too.
Yes, I remember it was passed down to him from Steve Bold, who was the first hypnotist to play in the Premier League. It's so encouraging to see that hypnotists have gone straight from being such a maligned group in the Premier League to almost one of its mainstays, and Steve has been instrumental in that and a fantastic spokesperson for them.
It was both.
Both.
I needed to do this for my family.
Harry's brooch there, made of solid coal, harking back to his days in the Welsh valleys, and of course his playing days for the Wales international setup. He's racked up 55 caps over there, and so he'll be sorry to leave his home team, but he always has a little spot of Welsh culture right by his heart there, and that's very moving.
This is not a surprise to anybody. It's really sad that it's got to this point.
Now, from a body language analysis standpoint, this is a very interesting moment. You see Meghan takes her two fingers, symbolizing the centre-back pairing she has with Harry Prince. She actually passes it over her midriff onto the hand, which is an open palm, and that represents the entire team, the team that is being defended by the strength of their partnership.
Another thing I would pick up on here is Meghan's dress. There's been a lot of comment about the dress, but very few people have picked up on the fact that it's actually intended to camouflage with the background. The first player to pioneer wearing combat fatigues, and then also she came up with another innovation which was absolutely incredible. Maybe you'd like to tell the folks about that, Doc.
She was actually the first player in the WSL to dress in the same kit as her opponents. I remember it was a League Cup game she first tried this out. She's playing for Derby County and they're up against Leicester City. She came out from the whistle, full head to toe in the royal blue of Leicester City. And it was only half time before they noticed. At that time, they were 3-0 down and the damage was done.
All right, next clip.
Look, I was really ashamed to say it at the time and ashamed to have to admit it to Harry, especially, because I know how much loss he's suffered.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the loss there being referred to the epic 11-game losing streak that Harry had to endure just a couple of seasons ago. Hopefully, he and Markle now teamed up won't have to deal with anything quite as traumatic as that.
Yeah, and again, I think this bodes very well for the future of this centre-back pairing, because Meg is clearly very moved by Harry's 11-game losing streak, despite the fact that he was playing for Wales, which is a country that Meg's never even been to.
It's testament to her skills as a teammate that she is an excellent teammate to teams she's not even a part of.
There is a way of doing things, but for us, for this union and the specifics around her race,
and we don't have to dwell on this because it's been dealt with in other videos, but of course the issue of Meghan's race, but almost derailing her career the night before a big semi-final clash with Coventry City, foolishly in many people's view participated in a 400 meters, which is so close to her heart. Yes, she won the gold medal, but if that had jeopardized her club's fortunes in the cup, they would not have thanked her.
It was a breach of contract. She was lucky to retain employment. I'm sure the reason that Ian Wright didn't push her too hard on this is because he did a similar thing when he participated in a roller derby right before the North London Derby.
It was covered up in the press, but inevitably these things leak out exactly as Meg's race did, and it can be damaging in the long run. So the advice to any elite athlete is just to try and be squeaky clean. You really must be squeaky clean.
But you know, my grandmother has been amazing throughout. You know, my father, my brother, Kate, and all the rest of the family.
All right, here I think we see one of the first moments that is a learning point in the sense of what not to do, because Harry here is referring to contact with his grandmother and his father and his family in general, and that is something that I don't recommend that to anyone, let alone a professional athlete. It's just going to distract you.
At this level, you should have pared your family and friendship unit back to no more than 3 teammates, the team physio, and the groundsman.
I completely agree with that. Those are the only 3 relationships you need. People take groundsmen for granted and forget that if it wasn't for those guys, soccer would just be played in a hole in the ground. All right, next clip.
He knows what pain feels like. My father and my brother, they are trapped.
Again, a small black mark against Harry there, discussing his associations with his father and his brother. And of course, it's important for a player like Harry to learn from the mistakes of those around him. His brother was an absolute legend in the Welsh League, but then he tried to take the big money move to Mexico, and Mexican football really wasn't a good fit for him at all.
If I remember rightly, the reason Harry's brother's move from Wales to Mexico didn't really work out was mainly a language barrier issue. I think most of the Mexicans just couldn't learn Welsh.
Can you tell us what the question was?
No, I don't. I'm not comfortable sharing that.
Okay.
It's a girl.
And what a joyful, fitting crescendo that is to this beautiful celebration of International Women's Day. And hopefully this will now become a tradition that on International Women's Day each year, one additional woman will be drafted into the men's game. Our great-great-grandchildren will see a men's game wholly populated by women.
Amen, amen. It's a girl. What a perfect way to celebrate. It's a beautiful moment. It's what it's all about. It's what this whole interview is happening for. I think it's very appropriate that Meg has been the first woman to make it into the men's team for International Women's Day, because she is a truly international woman, approaching 100 caps for her country. Okay, so do you have any general points about the interview that you would like to make before we finish up, Doc?
I guess the only big no-no that they perpetrated time and time again in this interview is its sedentary nature. From my point of view, if I was a talent scout or a manager, I would put a big, thick red line through your name instantly, because you just don't seem to have the requisite get up and go or dynamism that I'm looking for in a teammate.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Ian Wright let this happen, actually, being as experienced as he is, because I picked up on that as well. They're sitting down all the way through. People have accused me of hypocrisy for saying this before, for not advising sitting down, because they say, Derek, you sit down all the way through your videos. But actually, that's not true. I'm not sitting down right now. I'm actually doing the splits.
It's just the same for me. In this video, as always, I'm semi-submerged. My legs are undulating like the flippers of a merman.
Yeah, so there you go. And for those of you who don't believe that and who say it doesn't really look like that's what you're doing, that is just testament to how good at this stuff we are. So with all that being said, keep growing.
No cheat days.
See you in the next video.